Good morning, this is Mr. Touchton. I'm so happy that you're watching this video. Today we're going to talk about solving complex multi-step problems. And so it's going to involve some fractions, and we're going to be using a measurement of distance. So today, for this first problem, we're going to be talking about three people, three names: Jaden, Olivia, and Maynard. They're all students in my homeroom class. And they traveled a total of 600, I'm going to write it over here, 78 miles. Okay, so they traveled a very long way altogether. And so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how each of them have a set amount of units, and it's going to involve fractions, so we have to listen very closely. So Olivia traveled 2/5 of the distance Jaden traveled. So got to listen very close to that. So Olivia traveled 2/5. So we're going to make 2 units for Olivia because she only traveled 2/5 of what Jaden traveled. So I'm drawing this out. It's so important that we draw a model out so we can visualize this. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to make this a little bit maybe more accurate. So Jaden, we gave him 5 because Olivia only traveled 2/5 of what he did. So Jaden's got 5 units. Olivia's got 2 units. Now here is where things can get a little complicated. And you got to pay close attention. Maynard traveled 1/4 of Olivia. Now, Olivia only has 2 units. So if Maynard traveled 1/4, to accurately represent that and compare that to these, what I'm going to do is going to take her halves here, she has 2 halves, and split them. Why? So now, because I want equal units to that one. So Maynard had 1/4 of what she had. Okay? And if I split those into halves, Olivia's, to make them all even units, to break this down, I'm going to split Jaden's into halves, each unit. And so now I've got even units going all the way across. Maynard's only got 1. Olivia has 1, 2, 3, 4. Jaden has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So Maynard has 1 unit. Olivia has 4 units. Jaden would have 10 units. All right, now what I'm going to do is going to add all these units together, and then I'm going to use that total amount to find what 1 unit is. And once I have 1 unit, I can go ahead and find everything else I need to find. So 10 plus 4 is 14, plus 1 is 15. So what I'm going to do to find 1 unit, I'm going to take that 678 and divide it by my total number of units, because they traveled 678 miles, and there are a total of 15 units between all 3 of them. So to find what just 1 is, I'm going to go ahead and divide. And I'm going to do it right out here, long division. And we will end up with a decimal point somewhere in this answer. So I've got 678 divided by 15. So 15, can it go into 6? It cannot. Actually, I tell you what, to help you, I'm going to write this a little bit bigger right here. Okay, can it go into 6? 15 cannot go into 6, but it can go into 67. So let's start multiplying 15 out. 15 times 2 is 30, so that's going to be a little too low for us. 15 times 3 is 45, still a bit low for us because we're trying to get to 67. But if we do 15 times 4, then we get 60. So 15 times 4 is 60. And so I put my 4 up there, and then I'm going to subtract 67 minus 60, and I'm going to get 7 left. Pull down my 8, and 15 into 78. So 15 times 4 equals 60. So let's try 15 times 5 to try to get to 78. 15 times 5 is going to be 75. So 15 times 5 is 75, and then I'm going to subtract 78 minus 75, and I get 3. So I've got a remainder right now. What I'm going to do for that is I'm going to put a decimal point right here and right here. I'm going to put a 0 and bring down that 0. 15 into 30. Can 15 go into 30? Evenly, it can. It can go in twice. So I'm going to put my 2 up here. 2 times 15 is 30. And then I've got my answer for 1 unit, 45.2. So 1 unit is just 45.2. So that means Maynard traveled 45.2 miles. So I'm going to go ahead and write my three individuals right here. Jaden, Olivia, and Maynard. So we already know Maynard traveled 45.2 miles. Okay? So what I want to do now is go ahead and find Jaden's distance and Olivia's distance. So if Jaden has 10 units, then I'm going to go ahead and take 45.2 and multiply it by 10. So 45.2, multiply it by 10. Now, very important thing to pay attention, since we have a decimal point right here, okay, there's only one number behind the decimal point. In my answer, there's going to be only, here, I'll make this a little bit simpler. There's only going to be one number behind the decimal point. So 45.2 times 10. So right now I have 5.2 times 0, so it's going to be 2 times 0 is 0, 5 times 0 is 0, 4 times 0 is 0. Since I'm moving over to this spot, I'm going to put a placeholder right here. I'm going to put a 0. And then I'm going to go, this is going to be really easy. 1 times 2 is 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 4 is 4. And so what I end up with is 452. And I've got that 0.0, but I tell you what, since it's just 0.0, that 0 is not adding any value. So I can just erase that and know that Jaden went 452 miles. And now all I need to do is find Olivia's. So Olivia has 4 units. So what I do is take that 45.2 and multiply times 4. Okay, pretty simple. 2 times 4 is 8. 5 times 4 is 20. And then I have 4 times 4 is 16 plus that 2 is 18. So, since I had one number behind the decimal point in the original equation, I'm going to end up with one number behind the decimal point right there. And so Olivia traveled 180.8 miles. So once I did that, I found my base unit, or what one unit was. One unit was 45.2. So once I did that, I took that 45.2 and I multiplied it to get Jaden and Olivia's distance. Okay? So Jaden traveled 452 miles, Olivia traveled 180.8 miles, then Maynard traveled 45.2 miles. Once I add all those up, okay, I should end up with 678. So I'm going to move on to another example. This time this example is going to involve money. So I'm going to use another random example. I'm going to say Ezra. Ezra's a student in my other class. Ezra spent $118.50. Now, he bought a video game. He bought a board game. He bought a t-shirt. So, the board game costs 4/5 as much as the video game. So if it costs 4/5 as much, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this one 4 units. Okay, and the video game, since it was 4/5 as much, the board game was 4/5 as much as the video game, I'm going to give the video game that 5 units. So board game, 4/5 as much as the video game. And then the t-shirt was 1/4. The t-shirt was 1/4 as much as the board game. So now I have all these units. Together they equal $118.50. Let me make that a bit more clear. So what I'm going to do to find one unit, just one unit, I'm going to take my total amount of units And I'm going to use that and divide $118.50 by my total amount of units. So, listen, 1 unit, which is this one right here, equals $118.50 divided by, let's count up our units, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So all I have to do is divide this by 10 and I get just 1 unit. So I'll take this space right here and I'm going to go ahead and divide it right out here. Okay, so $118.50 divided by 10. Can 10 go into 1? It cannot. Can 10 go into 11? Yes, it can. 1 times 10 is 10, and then I would subtract 11 minus 10 and get 1. And now I pull down my 8, and I have 18. Can 10 go into 18? 10 can go into 18. Goes in just 1 time. 10 times 1 is 10. So I subtract 18 minus 10, and I would get 8. Pull down my 5. 10, can it go into 85? 10 can go into 85. It goes in 8 times. So 8 times 10 is 80. Subtract, and I get 5. Then I pull down my 0. Okay, 10 into 50 goes 5 times. So 10 times 5, excuse me, is 50. And then when I subtract, I get a 0 there. So 1 unit, when I divide all this up, is $11.85. So I know that just that t-shirt, since it was 1 unit, it's going to be $11.85. So I'm going to find all 3 of my items here. So video game, board game, and t-shirt. So t-shirt we know is $11.85. So that's my base unit. That's just 1 unit there. So I have to multiply $11.85 by 4 to get the board game, and then $11.85 by 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to get the video game. So this one, it would be $11.85 times 5. This one is $11.85 times 4. So let's go ahead and start. Let's figure out what our video game is going to be. And I'm going to make some space right here. So video game, $11.85 times 5 units. Now, $11.85 times 5. So let's go ahead and get started with that. 5 times 5 is 25. 8 times 5 is 40 plus 2. Carry that 4. 1 times 5 is 5 plus 4. And then 1 times 5 is 5. So, for our video game, when we multiply that out, we would get $59.25. Now, since we've got that one, all we have left is our board game, which was 1, 2, 3, 4 units. So it's going to be $11.85 times 4. Now, 5 times 4 is 20. Carry that 2. 8 times 4 is 32. Plus that 2 is going to make, let me make that a little clearer, is going to make it 34. Bring up my 3. 1 times 4 is 4 plus 3. Okay? And then I have 1 times 4, and I'm going to get 4. So 4740 is what I get. So, all this added up together should equal $118.50. So the video game costs $59.25, and I got that by multiplying our base unit, $11.85 times 5. Board game costs $47.40. I got that by multiplying $11.85 times 4, and I got $47.40. And then finally the t-shirt was the base unit, was just one unit, and that was $11.85. So it's tedious, I get it, it's like a math workout. But once you get the whole process and understand how it's done, and you pay careful attention, go step by step, then it should be easy for you and you should get the right answers. So thank you so much, and I hope to see you soon.